Yo, salute, 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 salute. It's your boy Jimo Legia Knicks. Of course, I'm coming under the weather right now with one of those weird, I don't know, one of those weird sicknesses, illnesses. I don't know what the hell it is. It's all nasal. Feels like like allergies. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, I'm just sneezing a whole bunch. So if I sneeze during the live, I apologize. Forgive me for being this sick and nasty and phlegmy. But we here, man. Knicks off season, man. A lot of talk, a lot of noise regarding coaches that the Knicks are allegedly or reportedly interested in. Guys who still have current jobs now. Salute to Gilbert Arenas' podcast, who came up with this theory that the Knicks are going to be, they're trying to interview guys who currently have jobs now so they could essentially end up, essentially just end up with Rick Brunson at the helm, which is crazy because that just means the kids are running, or as they say, the prisons are running the asylum. Not to say that any Knicks players are of that ilk or whatever. No one's insulting. It's just a saying. But allegedly, Rick Brunson will be the guy that that takes over. And no offense, like I said, man, this is a low IQ squad. So I don't see no Jason Kidds. I don't see no Rondos that are able to basically run this team without a proper coach in place. It's just not possible. Right, so the whole Rick Brunson theory, as interesting as it is, I just don't think that it occurs. Salute to our brother Ethan in the building, man. My guy Ethan, salute. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not tired. It just feels like I just want to keep sneezing. So please excuse me. But there are some other coaching candidates. First and foremost, I want to get to, before we even start off, I want to get to the series OKC Pacers, which for the ratings, the first two games were like some really bad ratings the first two games. I haven't checked for the last three. But salute to the OKC Thunder, man. Game 5, excuse me. Just handling business. I'm seeing how the industry, how the media treats Jalen Brunson, who still averaged 30 points in the whole playoffs, versus Halliburton, who I told y'all. Not saying I'm the first, but I told y'all, your man ain't that. And I like Halliburton. Y'all dudes is overrating Halliburton out the wazoo. Halliburton is not like that. He needs a screen, which I'm not poo-pooing, to get that space. When we talk about all these clutch shots, he was a front runner for the vast majority of them. For the vast majority of them. Against the Knicks with Naismith. Naismith hit 5 threes in the fourth quarter. Excuse me as I wipe up phlegm. Then your man comes down and hits some cockamamie shot at the end of the game. Game 1, your man Halliburton was not killing. But they keep giving him this mantle like he's that. He's not that. And when they needed him now, it's the injury issues. Jalen Brunson has been operating on a janky-ass ankle for I don't know how long. For the past 2 seasons, you could argue. Your man So, bro, come on, dogs. What are we doing here? OG Anunoby's a walking injury report. This is the first time in his whole career he's played more than 70 games. This past season. Knicks don't get no reprieve. Cat, as much as I get on Cat as just being a soft play, your man had a disgustly injured knee, bro. Leg, whole 9. But your man Halliburton gets to coast and skate away with the excuses time and time again, bro. And then for all the people online, this because I had a whole YouTube short I was going to do, and I'm still going to do that. All the people hyping up Obi Toppin, shut the fuck up. Please, stop. Stop. I got to watch each and every day some New York Knicks fan sit up there and ignore all the context that went behind a lot of these players and why they failed in New York. Now I'm hearing the Quentin Grimes story. Let me tell you something, man. Quentin Grimes, if you praise Dante DiVincenzo, you can't complain about Quentin Grimes then. Because it's one or the other. Quentin Grimes was trash last season for the Knicks. Trash. Couldn't hit a shot. His defense was starting to wane. He had the opportunity to start. He did not step up. He was trash for the Knicks. I hope people want to kill the Knicks. Okay, he went over to the Blazers. Sorry, to the Mavericks. And what did he do there? What did he do there? Besides a few games like Kyrie and Luka, what did he do there? They still traded his ass. He goes over to Detroit. Excuse me, not the 76ers. He's only killing because they don't have nobody else. I forgot who he's arguing with. George Niang, who's like, yo, bro, you wouldn't be doing this crap if Tyrese and Embiid were healthy. You are not that. And I'm not saying that he can't be a good player. Look, he's a free agent this upcoming season, but Quentin Grimes did not. It wasn't as if he earned his keep in that last year with New York. Let's go to Obi Toppin. Because Obi Toppin had that 15 points. Was it game 3, game 4? Game 3, was it? Now everybody's sucking off Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, your man Obi Toppin was Tradasio, Garbaggio, booty juice with the Knicks. Remember the whole thing about, can we play small with Julius Randle? We couldn't do it because Obi Toppin couldn't defend. He couldn't rebound. If Obi Toppin even gave you Jared Vanderbilt ability, in defending and rebounding, the Knicks could have played those two together. He couldn't. Jump shots, he couldn't. Y'all saw that putback dunk he had? I'm like, when the hell does he had a putback dunk in a big game for the Knicks? He always got boxed out. He always got pushed out the paint. Obi Toppin was not that dude, bro. Like, we got to stop. Tibbs is gone. It is what it is. But all this talk about, this guy's not here because of Tibbs. This guy's not. Tibbs hates the kids. Tibbs played IQ 19 minutes. I wonder why. And I wonder why when Obi goes over to Indiana, now he's all of a sudden a better player. I wonder why. Maybe because there's bumble F to do in Indiana? Maybe because there's nothing to do in Indiana but play basketball. Wow. So that means that when Obi Toppin was here, if that's true, I'm going off conjecture. If that's true, then that means that Obi wasn't paying attention. He wasn't focusing here. And granted, they're learning curves and whatnot, but Obi wasn't showing flashes that he can even do what he's doing now. And it's not even that impressive. First game, I think he had, 4 through 5 threes, whatever it was. Good. Other than that, he is not. The game he had 17 points instead of minus 15. He can't defend. When you're on the fast break, what does he do? Foul you. And then talk all loud and mad. Oh, right. You fouled him. What are you talking about? What are you doing? You fouled him. What are you trying to act all big and macho for? You fouled him. So look, man, I'm just happy that okay, sorry guys, I just need to sit back a tiny bit. My freaking this coat is annoying me. It's all up in my face. Ugly as hell. Like, I get old. I'm about to sneeze. Sorry. But this whole idea that these players will go to the Knicks, it's funny because they always talk about Obi Toppin. They never talk about iHeart. They talk about Obi Toppin, but they never talk about iHeart. Who was 25 when he came to the Knicks? So you still call him relatively young, right? He's not young, but he's young, right? Never talk about IQ. Never talk about anybody else but the Quentin Grimes and Obi Toppin. Quentin Grimes is not even on a playoff team. I'm hearing about. Why am I hearing about him? Then Obi Toppin, because he plays on a team that runs the ball, or that pushes the ball, pushes the tempo, play fast break. Now all of a sudden we missed out on Obi Toppin? Really? People say, yo, you need the confidence. Look, man, this is what I liked about Tibbs. You can't sit up here and complain about Tibbs, but complain about AAU basketball. Complain about where the sport of basketball, the game of basketball is gone. You can't do that. Because we talk about fundamentals, we talk about meritocracy, we talk about earning your keep. That was Tibbs' motto. And people say, oh, what about these young kids? A lot of these young players do not have the fundamentals and they don't work on it. That's the thing. A lot of these young players in the league today, they don't care to improve their games until they get traded, until they get moved around. He's not here. He's not on this team. But Franklin Aquino was a perfect example. A guy that I thought would actually be decent for the Knicks. He was trash. Because why? He's always out with Ace Boogie with the hoodie. Like, bro, your game is trash, bro. Work on your freaking. That's the type of guy where it's like, you'd even. I shouldn't even see you out. I don't care if you go out. I shouldn't see you out, though. Yes, you need a nightlife or a life. Yes, you need to get some steam off, but I shouldn't even see you out. That's how bad your game was. I shouldn't hear about you being out. Have your private parties in your spot, and then go to the gym. I should be hearing about you in the gym incessantly. But go to OKC for handling business. Hopefully they have the closeout game tomorrow to win the championship, the first championship in history. That also goes back to the Seattle Supersonics glory days with Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf, Sam Perkins, Gary Payton. That team had it in 96, lost to the Bulls, who, to be honest with you, the person should have won the MVP for that series should have been Dennis Rodman, but that's a conversation for another day. People are not ready to talk about it. Shoot some people in the chat, man. I'm about to get to the topics, bro. Just Cause, salute. Not Zay, salute. Captain Matumbo. Yeah, bro. Mets is about to be on a 5-game losing streak. Yup. And they drafted Jarace Walker, yup, to replace Obi Toppin. No, he's not that dude, bro. Once Jarace Walker gets a shot down pack, it's finito. Lord Jesus, Jeff McNeil, son. Yeah, Mets eating straight butt right now. It's funny because the Pacers got a number 8 pick power forward. Like, Obi Toppin not playing substantial. Yeah, bro. Yo, I swear. And you know some of the same stat nerds who make me freaking sick to my stomach? Not because you value advanced analytics or stuff. It's that they live by and they think that they could dictate dictate how you should read the game or how the game should go. You're not educated enough, bro. Like, son, dudes that play ball. I've played ball. I understand it. Like, stop with the. Stop with the whole. Like, you guys really think that, like, you're above everybody else just because you know the LeBron stat, which I think is these useless stats that don't mean nothing. Watch the game, understand the context, watch film, break it down, find the nuances. Some of your numbers don't even make sense when you add proper context. It's like, okay, that isn't. Yes, he has a true shooting percentage of 75%, but he takes all shots to the rim. But here's what. Hold up, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Oh man, but now I get to see Halliburton hopefully go down. Sorry, I should have muted myself. Excuse me. They're switching up on SJ. They switching up Naismith, Nebhart, all that. Nebhart shuts down everybody. Man, F out of here. They allowed the guy to foul people as he please. Not saying Nebhart's not a good defender, but a lot of issues get away with, man. Stop it. I like, y'all dudes be, NBA be, and then y'all in the social, in the not social, well, I guess the social media space, y'all be hyping up some hot garbage. Your man was grabbing on Brunson, pulling on his arm. And I just want to see the stats real quick. Shea Gilgeous versus Nebhard. Matchups. Let's see. So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander plays on offense. Ugh. Why is my computer so slow, dogs? All right, on offense, Andrew Nebhard. He's shooting 41% from the field, 25% from 3, 17 for 41. Played for 42 minutes. Aaron Naismith, a lot less minutes. And he's still finding his way. Even though that 41%, 25% is not great. But he is getting to the foul line. 13 for 14 at the foul line versus Nebhard. So now they're calling it. 5 shooting fouls against him. So now they're calling it. Like I said, man, they you know who they allowed to defend and who they don't. Simple as that. This Mex team sucks right now. Lord jeez. Can't get nothing going. So in the chat, man. God bless. Not say salute. Just Cause, Captain Matumbo, IKBM, 221 Big. I was supposed to have my guy Darcy on, but he's not showing up. Ethan, Walter Blackman, salute. Let's just get to it, man. Knicks interviewing a bunch of, not bunch, unless you have been trying to poach some other teams as current coaches, which is crazy, like I already said about the theory about Rick Brunson. But this is important, man. Whoever comes up, this team, this coach is gonna have a lot on their plate. I'm not even sure how. Now, coaches of the NBA who are free, they typically just want to go to. A lot of guys just want to go to a team. But if you're an experienced guy and you don't want to have another failure attributed to your name, especially if you got a second chance elsewhere, a guy like Budenholzer, and a guy like Budenholzer might be like, yeah, I'm just looking for. I say he's looking for a job, but hey, I'm trying to catch on. I'll take any situation. Per se, that Knicks job is probably not as attractive. Because think about this. Think about all the things you have to do as a Knicks coach this season. You got to develop the kids. You got to find the right fix for a bench, proper rotations. Right rotations. Do you go small? Do you go average rotation? You have to find who plays best with each other. Pause. Not just in off the bench, but in the starting lineup. When we talk about staggering lineups, who fits where? Right? Then you got to handle Cat. You got to handle Brunson. Got to handle Josh. Does Josh come off the bench like he did in the playoffs? Oh, by the way, you got to win a championship. There's no other. There's no. He said this one the worst Knicks pod. Why are you here? I got you, my G. Oh, I got trolls in the chat, man. Let me kick this clown out. Excuse me for the sniffles, man. I am sick as hell. Oh. Freaking dying, man. Oh, excuse me. So I just need to do one thing with the chat. Let me hide you. All right, you good, baby. And you got to win a championship, right? How do you do that as a coach? Typically, championship-level coaches, there's something to build. Not saying there's not anything to build off this season with the Knicks. There is some stuff to build off. He said, bro, just started talking about the Knicks. Yeah, because I was issuing to everybody else. He says a word. I know. Come on, though. It's trolls. I don't know. You're from KFTV or something? God bless him, but we know y'all be having some people have some trolls. So show's not. I don't think so. But Captain, every time since that time, I get like a mini sickness, and then I'll get big time. I'll get more sick, like the next week, the week after. Anyway, so there's so much things that have to go on with the Knicks perfectly this year as a coach. You can't. That's not a reset year either, right? You got to find what the right mix is. Now, they did say there's several coaches that they have been, or there's at least one coach that they're going to interview, and there's another one they're interested in. Some names that have come up, guys like Jason Kidd, who they have alleged to want to go and interview, and it seems as if there's interest from Jason Kidd's camp. There have been noise from, I think, Shams, whatnot, saying that dream is not dead, despite the fact that Mavericks have denied Jason Kidd that request. Honestly, if I'm the Mavericks, I would give Jason Kidd that request because you put him through hell trading off Luka Doncic when we all know he did not want to trade no Luka damn Doncic. You destroyed Jason Kidd's not sitting up there trying to develop that team. He's there to try to win a championship, and you guys really took that out of his hands because you want to build your freaking Vegas your casino. If it don't happen in Dallas, if they don't pass the legislation, go over to Vegas. But that's the top for another day. Is what it is. Him, like, you got the Knicks. I don't know how they're moving, but a lot of these coaches are not gonna. Some of these guys may not leave their leave their situations just to come to Knicks, even if it means getting so-called close to a championship. Also, how they've treated Tibbs. Look, man, how it works in the NBA, there's a brotherhood in terms of coaches and whatnot, right? You fire a coach that got you to 51 wins, Eastern Conference Finals, and other teams, other coaches will sit around and say, well, look at the players. How you give up game one? How you F up that? How you blah, 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 blah. They'll look at that versus say from the fans' perspective. I'm telling you, a lot of these coaches. You had freaking who was this coach? Doc Rivers came out. He was like, they shouldn't have interviewed the players after the loss because guys, their emotions are high, and he would probably know about players turning their back on him and wanting him to get fired. But he was like, you shouldn't have interviewed those players. Then you should let it marinate a little bit so they could give you a little bit clearer of an answer, an assessment of Tom Thibodeau. He spoke out. I'm forgetting who else spoke out. Oh my gosh, another coach spoke, and I can't freaking remember. But it was like, it's just it's just an older analyst. Excuse me. And it's like, yo, he got you the ECF. He got you 51 wins, and you guys fired him. So it is what it is, man. Like, let's just get to the candidates. I already covered my Taylor Jenkins on another video. Please check that out as well too. But here to talk about Taylor Jenkins, let me just fix the screen. I got to get these screens corrected. That's the way it's gonna be. Damn, my Knicks suck. Why do my Knicks suck? So let's get to it, man. As we talked about before, Taylor Jenkins, who's actually had... let me get to... This thing is moving dumb slow. Hold on. Yo, Albie just got hit bad. What the hell just happened? Sorry, I'm just lowering the amount of time between the slides, so... Alright. Let me get to Taylor Jenkins. Taylor Jenkins, who I'm starting to warm up to a little bit in terms of his fit with the Knicks. Obviously coming over from the Grizzlies. What the fruck? Coming over from the Grizzlies, spent around 6 years there. Now, interestingly enough, both him and Mike Brown are from the Popovich tree. So many people from Popovich tree. Even though I would say this, he's more so... Now, he was an assistant with the Spurs back in 07-08. He was like a video guy, I believe, at first. I would probably say I would say the Budenholzer tree a little bit more so than say Pop. Well, yeah, I would say Budenholzer, even though he is from the Grand Popovich tree. Budenholzer from the Popovich tree as well, too. 6 years as a coach, 6 years as an assistant. 54% win percentage as his head coach. As head coach with the Grizzlies, but a 9-14 record in the postseason. Style of play, he's a player coach, developmental guy, really intense. Everybody sees him yelling on the sidelines, but he is a guy that likes to tap into player development. You saw guys, young players on that team, developing at least on the offensive end. Guys like Jalen Wells. You saw G.G. Jackson. I won't say it was a failure. I would say Zaire Williams. Well, I'd say Zaire was more of a big miss by the organization. I can't put that on Taylor Jenkins, but Taylor Jenkins is not afraid. He's not afraid to use a turn to the young kids. Now, there's a lot of noise regarding his assistant coach and whatnot. So, in terms of players and minutes and stuff, things change over time, especially this season, as he was on a hot seat bad with the front office. Kleiman. I'm forgetting his guy's name. Is it Kevin Kleiman? Jason Kleiman? Chris Kleiman? I can't remember who the GM is, but Kleiman, something Kleiman, with the Grizzlies. The offensive system. Now, interestingly enough, this is a team that used to be a heavy pick and roll squad. I believe when he first came, I want to say the first 2 or first 3 years, they ranked up in the top 10. Excuse me. Or maybe, was it 4 out of 6 years maybe? Ranked in the top 10 in terms of pick and roll frequency. Your man John Morant, obviously, Jenkins was utilizing him in Triple J, him and Steven Adams in that pick and roll incessantly. That was their bread and butter. And then, interestingly enough, there was some, especially this past season, they ranked at last in terms of pick and roll frequency, only ran it 10% of the time. This is largely because of the change in so-called offensive philosophy. Kleiman, who already had fired 5 of Taylor Jenkins' 5 assistants, or got rid of them, started to transition over to an offense that was being preached by I'm going to butcher the name. Tomas Lisola? Grizzlies. Tom Lisola. Yeah, I can't. Tomas Lisalo. Whew, that was terrible. In terms of my butchering. But interesting enough, they switched from a heavy pick and roll offense to much more of a motion offense. A lot of off ball movement, cuts, Princeton cuts, all the fancy off ball stuff that a lot of so-called analysts love. And then they actually try to switch back to a pick and roll offense, largely because Ja Morant was getting fed up, right? So Taylor went back to a Ja Morant offense, a Ja Morant pick and roll offense. Try to sprinkle that more in there. That didn't succeed. Your man Vinny Blanco said we got another Clips album before the Knicks won a chip. He said my audios go to in and out. Yo, that should not be the case. I'm sorry about that. If you guys can't hear me, I apologize. It's better now. I apologize. I don't know what the hell. I didn't do anything. So that's the name of the game with the Grizzlies. Just in terms of the things that have changed, a lot of noise with the GM. And honestly, that's not the name. I forgot some other points. Defensively, they typically run man, even though they have run some zone. One thing, though, that you guys would love is that Taylor Jenkins and his assistants did try to, at least in the middle of the season, utilize larger rotations. Now, obviously, they had to do that when Ja was out. They had to tap into their bench. But one thing that they had to do, that he did as well, too, was try to save their legs, not play guys as many minutes. They try to make these like quick subs, 3-minute subs for players. Right? Sometimes it throws players off their rhythm. Sometimes it allows guys to get a little bit more healthier. Sometimes you get a weird mix between the two. So I'm not necessarily sure how he's going to do that with the Knicks. But, well, no, actually, I take that back. He's going to save these guys' legs because they're going to sit there and complain. They already got Tom Thibodeau out of here, probably partially because of that. So sending rotations, getting guys minutes, some reprieve, tapping into the bench is going to be a huge hurdle. For Taylor Jenkins, especially once we get who's actually going to be on our bench, right? We got the kids, whatnot. You got the Kemba Colors and the Kolex, Pacome, Aaron Huck Purdy. But who the hell are we going to get? Tyus Jones? I would love Tyus Jones, and Tyus Jones had some of his best numbers under the Grizzlies. That one year he replaced he stepped in for Ja Morant when Ja Morant was hurt, and your man was a facilitated maestro. Defensive server, he talked about player profiles. He likes to attack at interchangeable guards. You saw they put the ball more in who is now traded now. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Sorry, my bad. Interchangeable guards, they love they love putting the ball, not love, but they put the ball in Desmond Bane's hands when Ja was out. So they kind of had him as a playmaker on the ball, the screens for him and all that stuff. They kind of use him as like that I won't say point guard, but it's essentially a lead guardish type role, especially when Ja was out. He did some of that damage too when Ja was back in, but Ja is not a good 3-point shooter, so it's tough to really live off playing Ja off the ball for long periods of time. You also had big mobile wings, right? So I was looking up the defense. Right, a lot of clips on like the breakdowns of the Grizzlies' defense, and what Taylor Jenkins loves is having big wings, like these big 3-4s who can guard out in space, who could defend the perimeter, who could leave on an island, who could switch with. And there are a lot of expectations Taylor Jenkins having a defensive background. There's a lot of expectations for Taylor Jenkins to come in and really instill or install an elite defense. Especially with his wings now. Got guys like Triple J. But I actually thought the biggest blow to this team was Brandon Clark with the knee issue. He was out the whole year with the knee issue. Brandon Clark, to me, I thought was probably one of the more underrated players in the league, especially on the defensive end. Mostly on the defensive end, coming from Gonzaga, like just a well-disciplined type of player. Could defend the rim, defend the outside, could move extremely well. His game was, I like this game a lot, but him coming out, now you left Triple J by himself. And Triple J is weird. Suitor Nick G, who also pointed this out too, I was talking to him on the phone. And it's true, Triple J could give you a game where he has 4 or 5 blocks. No one's shooting at the rim, no one's able to finish the rim. Then he'll give you a game where he has literally 5 fouls, 10 points, and has been an absolute bum at the rim. So that goes to show me he's not a lead defender in the backcourt like that. And for all the people asking about the trade, would you trade? They already came out and said they're not trading no Triple J. But if Triple J was available, what would you guys trade for Triple J? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Leave your thoughts in the comments as we progress the show. ISO big men, like I said, even though Zach Edey is more of the so-called old school plotting center who protects the paint. And that's another thing, too, with Taylor Jenkins. Protecting the paint. That is what he lived by. Very similar to what Tom Thibodeau was doing. Protecting the paint at all costs. Dribble, drive, penetration, cut that off. They kick it out to the outside defend. Now, the thing with Taylor Jenkins is that he was expecting those rotations, those things to happen, but it never translated. And that's another thing, too, man. You try to get guys to build defensively. And then also, too, when you're a lame duck because you got your assistants got fired, these players aren't really tapping in with you. They're not really listening to you, right? So at a certain point, we lose a locker room. It's tough to preach defense because defense is all about focus and effort. You're most likely not going to get paid off your defense. We'll win, but you worry about your next contract. So you have a guy, especially a young coach. He's 40 years old. Sit there trying to teach you about defense. Am I here for defense? That's the mindset. So you try to do that when you're a lame duck coach is almost damn near impossible. It's just not going to happen. Like Sutu New Yorker says, I like Collins too. You like John Collins? Ugh. Triple J, Daddy, and McKay, number one, couple of twos. Sham God would be incredible, especially for Deuce. I didn't even know Sham God. His father was a 5%. I think he was a 5%. Oh, no, he maybe was. I can't remember. But Sutu Shop, God Sham God. One of the greatest names. One of the greatest crossovers of all time. That's how you had to win the chip. Losing that first game. Yo, bro, Flatbush Dre. That did us in, man. And I still think that we would have had a chance against OKC. I still think he would have had a chance. I'm not a fan of his game, bro. He's kind of ass. Can't defend well. He can shoot a little bit, but he's just generic as hell as a player. Like, it's not a guy I'm wasting money to trade for. Wasting assets, to trade for. This game is type trash. It's just, it's mid. Like, how does it take you over the top? And where are you going to fit him? Is he going to start? No. So, but yeah. With Taylor Jenkins, he loves to protect the paint. The three-point defense, if you look at it, last year they ranked 24th in overall scoring, like 27th in, like, three-point percentage or something like that. Right? They're just not a team that defends the perimeter. To the point last year you had fans saying, damn, I'm trying to forget the damn joke they were saying. But essentially, fans were harping on Taylor Jenkins for not being able to defend the perimeter. Like, he didn't care for the three-point shot. Which I don't think is the case because, like I said, man, if you are a lame duck coach, they're going to get rid. They're going to move on from you. It don't matter, right? That's how these guys are thinking. So you're lame duck coach. What am I going to buy in defensively? You ain't going to be here next year. How am I overexerting myself for? You're not going to be here next year. So it is what it is. But some of the questions I had for your man, Can I say Jenkins? Oh, Jenkins. Wow. Yo, son, I'm blind. I said Jenkins. What the hell is Jenkins? Actually, let me just open this up. Open up my Photoshop or whatever image. So I'm not looking at. Hey, what the fuck? I was gonna open up Photoshop. Chris Sale's kicking a Mets ass right now, so it doesn't even freaking matter. It doesn't even freaking matter. I tried. Why does everything appear on my separate screen over? Chris Sale looking like the Boston Red Sox, old school Chris Sale, man. It's ridiculous. Can Taylor Jenkins maximize JB and Cat's offense? That's an important thing. Obviously, everyone knows about the pick and roll offense that those two had in terms of had in the early part of the season, elite pick and roll system, but then it fell off. I thought that Tibbs failed in many regards in terms of making it work with him, making it work with those two. And Taylor Jenkins, he's gonna need a crutch to rely on offensively, right? He's gonna utilize Cat. He's gonna utilize JB. and having that 2-man game. I just can't see it in a way because he did it with GG Jack. Sorry, he did it with Triple J and Morant. And despite the fact that Brunson doesn't need as much as Durant, but I think Taylor Jenkins understands like making those two dangerous and having everybody feel off the gravity just makes the game that much more effective, that much more easier in terms of getting a win, in terms of opening up the game for everybody else. Who'll be his dogs? Remember, they got to the playoffs, the Grizzlies, those 2 years, because they had some agitators. They had some real demons on that team. Dylan Brooks, gone. Brandon Clark, hurt. Tyus Jones, gone. DeAndre Melton, gone. So who are the dogs that the Knicks are going to acquire in free agency or pick up? Right? We have that mid-level taxpayer, mid-level exception. We can make some trades. Does he try to go bigger wing? Does that mean McBride is gone? But you need your dogs. Dylan Brooks was your poor man's Vernon Maxwell coming off the bench. That 1 year that he started, I want to say he started 2 years in between, and in between was a year he only played like 31 games, something like that in the start. I want to say he got hurt. Where's your Dylan Brooks? Brandon Clark, one of these 6'9", 6'10" forwards who moves like a wing, may not even really shoot, but goes out there and defends and rebounds at such a high level. That's not it. Yo, bro, it's not as easy as it sounds to have a Brandon Clark in NBA. Where's that coming from? Tyus Jones, your point guard facilitator. He was averaging like 7-8 assists a game when your man John Morant was out. And he really hasn't seen those heights again. He was on the Wizards, then he's on where's he at now? Suns. And it hasn't been the same for him. He might have to take a deal, but for a team that needs the bench help so badly, like I said, they need dogs. Can he get the Knicks a buy-in defensively? More zone. Now, obviously, Tom Thibodeau didn't run a zone. Guys complain about their legs being run ragged or that they shouldn't be going to the bench more. Does Tom Thibodeau utilize a zone? And how effectively do we do it where we actually match up our defense against we match up our defense against an opponent on a night-night basis, right? What type of defense do we play? And tell Jenkins, to his credit, he's a guy who will adapt. He will try to adapt as he knows, as best as he knows, right? So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he want to do on defense. But he does like his bigs being able to defend Cat. And defend out and chase Cat. Don't matter what you do, Cat. Until you stop playing drop back, bro, your life is not going to be easy for you. Your life is not going to be easy for you, bro. I don't want to hear about, oh my gosh, Tom Thibodeau should have done. For what? If you don't play drop back versus the Pacers, Naismith doesn't eat. They don't eat, period. Can Tom Thibodeau... People keep complaining about Cat not being maximized. Again, I want to know, what the fruck? What the fruck? When the fruck has Cat ever been maximized? You don't maximize a player per se. You maximize a situation in which they can succeed in the way that you want them to succeed. And that also means defensively, because people keep talking about... Put it like this. We have Patrick Ewing on this Knicks team. We win this chip. If Patrick Ewing was on this Knicks team right now, we would have won the chip versus OKC. Wholeheartedly believe that. So it's not about just maximizing one player. It's about making it work, making the situation work. Cat, we need you to run the pick and roll. I need you to establish that early in the game. Cat, when I need you to get in the post up and get this guy who has 3 fouls in the second quarter into even more trouble, I need your ass to get in the post. Bro, eat. When you at the wing spot, attack. Guys couldn't stay in front of you, but yet, oh my gosh, the 3-point shooting. Oh my God, I need the 3-point. No. You need good basketball. You need smart basketball. If the 3 calls for it, or the game calls for the 3, then shoot the 3. What are we doing here? Ridiculous. Perfect balance for OG and McCall. Like, when you watch Taylor Jenkins, I'm always... look at how he utilized some of the wings on there. Santi Aldama, John Conker. You can argue the guy from... Excuse me. You can argue the guy from Wake Forest. I'm forgetting his name. That was there. I'd also say too, Zion was supposed to be that guy. That third, fourth piece. But I was thinking he was gonna be a salt player come out of Stanford. I don't like his game. But Tibbs gonna be relying heavily. Sorry, Tibbs. Let me take that back. Jenkins is gonna be relying heavily on his wings to produce. That means Mikal. That means OG Anunoby. That means even Pacome Daddy. How does he utilize these wings? Will he allow Mikal continue to shoot those mid-range shots, which he's grown accustomed to, grown comfortable with? And people complain, oh, you got to take to the rim. I didn't say you got to take to the rim, but when you're that weak and that fragile, bro, you're going to try to go up and get to the rim every time. Bro, it's not going to work. Now, the playoffs, when he had that one right underneath with Naismith, he should have just taken that up. But these guys are not... It's not as easy to say, oh, just attack the basket and draw the... It's not that easy. So we'll see, man. The perfect balance between OG and Mikal. Now, the Grizzlies should have drafted my son Trey Murphy when they had the chance. They didn't because they're dumb. They drafted Zion Williams, so I just thought it was flash on the paint. I can't even call it flash on the paint. He was not that good. This wasn't that good. Anyway, how he developed the kids. We talk about Pacome, right? We talk about Daddy. We talk about Pacome. We talk about Daddy. Talked about Tyler Kolek, right? Does he get the Tyus Jones treatment? And not develop. He's not going to be their hands on, but how does he put these guys in a position to succeed night in, night out? Huck Purdy, I think, could be out big for the future. I love his game. Defensive big, that is. I love his game. And you know what? I take that back. Huck Purdy is probably more so close to Brandon Clark. I take that back. I like Huck Purdy as my Brandon Clark. Defensive, aggressive. You got to cut down the fouls, but he could catch the ball at the foul line, drive in for the layup, drive in for the dunk, drive in and kick it out to a cutter underneath on the baseline. That's probably our Brandon Clark. Just realize that. Give me credit, 10%. But how will you develop the kids? Again, it's one of the most important tasks this season. How do you develop the kids? Pacome, McCullough, do you find a space for him? This is the end for one of your one of the Knicks mainstays. Let me not say end, right? But a guy like Josh Hart, right? How do they envision him when you have, and I say not McCullough per se, but you have other options that could flash next year, right? Now, I don't think get rid of Josh Hart. You still need his rebound, you still need his hustle, and the occasional threes he hits when he actually takes them. But I'm just saying, things are moving. And then who will be his assistants? As we talked about before, he got 5 of his assistants fired. Then it came down to, was it Nate LaRoche? Nate LaRoche on the Grizzlies, who was trying to still implement his ideas, and then got shut down, for Tomas Lisolo, who's running more motion offense. Funny thing enough, that's Taylor Jenkins' background. He came from the Popovich strong motion, weak motion. That's his offense, and yet he wasn't utilized enough. But I don't think that's exactly all the reason why he got fired. That also has to come from, say, John Morant, who still has probably some pull in that organization. He's telling these guys, like, and they're like, look, Ja, you good? You still want the coach? He's probably like, yeah. Which is effed up, right? Because honestly, I don't think Ja... my Mets suck balls. This guy throws a 3-2 grapefruit right down the freaking pipe to Olsen. Who's this pitcher? Looks like freaking Daniel Murphy, man. My Mets suck. 5 in a row, man. Get this ish the F out of here, boy. Get this ish the F out of here, boy. 5 in a row? Oh, why? Why can I enjoy freaking art? Why do I like sports? Sorry. His assistants. Will he bring in assistants who are going to focus and specialize in nuanced offense, preaching defense? Or push defense, get these guys to be better defensive players? Who are the assistants that he brings over? Will it be LaRoche? Obviously, LaSola is still with the Grizzlies. But that will be interesting to see, right? Under Tom Thibodeau's assistants were kind of just, I don't say yes men, but almost like robots. They really didn't There's outside of guys that CA brought in, had installed like Johnny Bryant, Mike Woodson, freaking who's your man that went over to UK University of Kentucky? That's supposed to be good with the big man. I'm forgetting this guy's name. Light skinned guy, ballhead. Right, so it's a lot of things that are coming up for Jenkins, right? Getting that coaching staff right, having a game plan for the young players, having a game plan for your key plays now. How do you utilize those wings? How did he utilize JB and Cat? Is he going to play Cat more off the ball? Sorry. Is he going to play Jalen Brunson more off the ball? Something he couldn't really do with Ja? That could definitely be the case. We could probably have I'm not... Look, the offense is what it is. We were fifth in offensive rating last year, ninth in scoring. So it's not as if we weren't a good team on the statistics side. But it will be interesting to see how much he can explore, how much he can open up this offense even more for players, get guys at rest, develop some younger players or players who weren't getting too many minutes. So we'll see, man. But Taylor Jenkins, I'm actually starting to warm up to the idea. I like the pedigree, the Popovich, and Budenholzer. He might bring Budenholzer as an assistant. That would be interesting if he got hired and did that. Obviously, Budenholzer's going from Phoenix, and I like Budenholzer, but he got the raw end of the deal, man. Like I said, there's certain teams I'm good on coaching. I'm good. If I got to sit down and take a year, join somebody else's staff, I'll do it. I'm not taking this staff. I can't. So, let's move on from Taylor Jenkins. Sorry if I'm not on the camera. I should be. From Taylor Jenkins to Mike Brown. Mike Brown, who has a very interesting background. This guy has been a NBA lifer in terms of coaching. 60% win percentage, 454 versus 304. Postseason actually is fairly good, 50-40. Even though he had LeBron, he had Kobe in his early stages of his head coaching career. The Popovich tree again rears his ugly head. Suits to Popovich though, man. Hopefully things get better for him. Experience 11 years head coach, 13 years as assistant. His best seasons were in 08, 09, where Cleveland won 66 games. 09-10, they won 61 games. Not numbered. He won 61 games. And then 05-06, the offensive system, dribble handles, Princeton offense, UCLA cuts, 5 out. Let me say something, man. 2 years ago, the Kings had the number one offense. It had one of the most prettiest offensive frameworks I've ever seen. When I tell you I've watched games where Sabonis would kill in the first half, 18-10, something stupid. And in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, Sabonis is the foul line, handoff, screen, handoff, finding plays and find a three-point shooter. Then if he had to, he'll attack the basket. But when I talk about the selflessness of that system, that was so freaking beautiful. Oh, they were running the dribble handoffs, like I said. Excuse me. They were running 5-out basketball. They were running split action. They were running some motion concepts. They were running Princeton cuts. Excuse me. Guy gets the screen at the wing and then cuts to the basket. UCLA, they were getting everything, bro. That was UCLA cuts out. I was just explaining then you have the Princeton cuts underneath. Everything. But can you implement that in the system here? They had agile shooters. It's easy to say this when you have a Malik Monk who's, at this point, actually underrated. Underrated explosiveness, underrated speed, quickness. We all know you can shoot threes. It's just the focus wasn't there, right? You have other guys like freaking Kevin Huerter, right? Guys who could hit a three and he really only went down because that foot. I think it was a knee or foot injury when he was coming down from the air. So having those type of shooters, right? Do the Knicks have that? McBride, maybe. Jalen Brunson, obviously. Mikal, he got to show me he can do a little bit more with his Mikal got to show me he do a little more with his three-point shooting. 35% from three is not going to cut it, especially for an off-ball guy. It's just not going to cut it. OJ Anunoby, do you want to move around a whole bunch? That's what. It's a give and take, man. It's a give and take. Defensive profile. Now, oddly enough, this guy has a defensive background. Now, with the Kings, I think it's just a personnel thing. Try to preach that defense, that defensive spirit, that defensive mind, and accountability is one of the biggest things in terms of one of his philosophies, accountability, and that's going on. He largely plays man if anybody's going to be scared, right? But his too, limit the outside shooting, offensive flow, something that he's talked about. So that means playing the passing lanes, being alert, which we've seen many times this Knicks team was not, especially in the playoffs. Josh Hart with the backdoor cuts from the corner. What's the guy's name from Belmont? Who should never should never be making a layup versus you, Josh. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this. My eyes are finito. Like I said, limit the outside shooting flow, funneling scores. One thing he talked about too was defensively. Again, you can't really watch the film of the Kings. They've been terrible defensively. One thing that Mike Brown likes to do is to funnel defenses into traps, funnel them into baseline traps. Something that's very akin to how the pack line defense runs with or did with Tony Bennett at Virginia, which was then the father of, or at least a cousin, the old cousin, I would say, of the defense that the Knicks ran under Tibbs, right? The help, protecting this imaginary line, this imaginary border, right? So it'll be interesting to see if he can finally get the Knicks to buy into his defensive system. I'm talking about a guy who played with Kobe, played with LeBron. He played on those teams, especially in LeBron teams, but they'll still largely focus on defense, making stops. How does he take that experience and translate it over here? It's always weird when you have a coach who was always a defensive guy, play development guy. I think some people probably also some as a rah-rah guy. He gets the opportunity to coach the way he wanted to, and he flips the script and goes into his like purely offensive team. Does he do that? Now let's get to the we're gonna get to player profiles first. Multifaceted big, like I said, Cat is gonna have to live in that post. And this is what we talk. People are like, oh, he's not being maximized. If Cat is able to have a bunch of screen assists, a bunch of assists in the pinch, a bunch of playmaking plays in the pinch, hockey assists as well too, I really don't give a flying F about how many points he has, right? And so is it all about maximizing his scoring when we talk about maximizing Cat? Or is it talking about making the other parts of his game better? When he's at the top of the key, he loved to facilitate and catch the cutter underneath, catch the player that split into the basket with the split action with the other defender. Oh, it's with the other teammate. But how does he feel about getting his butt in the low post? How about he feel about his butt getting in a pinch? It's a different... Yeah. I'm really scared for this Cat situation. He just doesn't give me a lot of hope, man. Cat does not give me a lot of hope. I know the production and whatnot, and he just doesn't give me the hope that he could change his game to fit, to so-called maximize our offense. I don't care about the maximize your own. It gives an F. Maximize your own freaking. Go play 2K if you want to do that. But we talking about maximizing offense here. Talking about maximizing offense here. So we'll see. But let me get to the questions, man. Then I got Jenkins up. I'm opening up a useless. Here comes the man in black, Galaxy Defender. Anybody want to make me some Pepe soup, man? I'm sick. Even though, actually, the funny thing, talking to you guys, I haven't been sneezing nearly as much. I've been nearly as sick. But, yeah, let me get to Mike Brown. I'm going to just turn the screen because Mets are losing anyway. Who gives a flying F? Questions. Can Mike Brown get the Knicks to buy into Mike Brown's all-in mindset? Now, last year, or since he's been there, right, 3 years, his whole idea is about the whole buy-in, right? Being accountable, playing defense, hustling. You come as a new coach, and he does have pedigree. He does have a history. Will these guys tune him out? Will they buy into that philosophy of playing hard? Now, maybe with less minutes, they can, right? And I just jinxed myself. And honestly, outside of Cat, the rest of this team hustles. Even Brunson hustles. As much as people may not want to admit it, even Brunson hustles on defense. Don't get it twisted. Brunson actually hustles on defense. The person has to buy in is really Cat. And again, that means less minutes. Other guys can come in and play those defensive minutes when I help out and keep guys fresh. That's one thing. But Cat, too, and Cat has to be kept fresh, too, pause, because he's played a lot of minutes. But it really comes down to Cat defensively. Cat just gets killed on the screens. If he doesn't step up, the whole defensive system is you gamble with dice. And bad dice, loaded dice. Can Cat play as a pinch weapon? Is he good, or is he better as an outside shooter? I heard it all. Cat wasn't maximized because Cat didn't play. He didn't shoot enough threes. He shot 4.7 threes in the regular season versus 5.3 the season before with the Minnesota Timberwolves. A Minnesota Timberwolves team that really had nothing left to do for Cat. Like, they just like, what are we gonna do with this guy? Talented player. What are we gonna do? They still met the Western Conference Finals. I'm just saying. Cat has to try to find a way. Sabonis speaks high heavens. It hasn't just been De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis speaks high heavens of Mike Brown. Said he helped him develop his. And mind you, this guy Sabonis has been with 30 billion coaches. Nate McMillan, Nate Bjorkgren. He was there with Carlisle. I think Carlisle's first year there. He's been with every coach you can. Not every, but he's been with a whole bunch of coaches. And truth, Mike Brown with the further development of his offensive game gives him a lot of credit for that. Can Cat do that, or does Cat just want to play and shoot the three? And it's not just Tom Thibodeau. Everybody has gotten on Cat about being tougher. I know people make fun of Cat and call him, bitch body or stuff. That's crazy, but it stems from how you play. If Cat was wearing tutus and dunking on dudes, I don't say dunking. That's not the right way to put it. But being aggressive and attacking the basket when the time calls for it, being physical, getting guys into foul trouble, like we saw in Game 3, Game 4 in the third quarter against the Pacers, Game 5. If you see that, who's gonna talk ish to Cat? They don't. They call Dennis. They call Cat more of a softie than they did Dennis Rodman, who was wearing wedding dresses and acting out crazy. Because you know why? Dennis Rodman every game, 15, 20 rebounds, defending you, all up in your grill. You're not eating. You're not, bro. You're not doing this against me. But Cat's just soft, man. I don't know how to put it. Let me get to the next question. Okay, will MB go public with Brunson's game similar to De'Aaron Fox? Now, this is where the all-in thing comes in as well, too. Mike Brown has been known to question players or put players' businesses out in the public when they struggle. At first, De'Aaron Fox allegedly said he didn't mind it. He didn't care for it. But then people speculate that or allege that it was De'Aaron Fox who got Mike Brown fired because he was tired of it, right? These players are fickle. And thank God, salute to Tibbs for doing this. Tibbs has never truly called. I know he called out R.J. Barrett at one time. But for the most part, Tibbs protected his players. For the most part. Say 98% of the time he did. Mike Brown comes in a new situation. He's not married to any of the front office structure. I would say he's a lame duck, but 2 bad seasons and you're damn sure you're a lame duck. Now he's coming in to this team. Can he speak like that about JB? Hey JB, we need ball movement, J. Like I'm just it's a terrible example, but when JB goes superhero mode and thinks that shooting the ball more and more and more and more from the first quarter to the fourth quarter is going to help us win the game because you trust your own abilities, and you should. But if he has that, he fumbles, he struggles. Does Mike Brown call him out in the media? Who does? Stepping in uncharted territory with some of these new coaches. Can MB elevate the Knicks to the finals without a key starter? Remember, he had Kobe and LeBron, right? His time with Cleveland and LA, or LA, Kobe and LeBron. So LA and Cleveland, respectively, right? Who's his main guy? When they played against the Warriors 2 seasons ago, Who's their go-to guy? Sabonis ate straight mud. Sabonis ate straight mud against the Warriors. And the defense was trash. Who was going to step up for that Kings team? Big time late game collapse. Sorry. That's the topic for the next topic. But they lost to that Warriors team. Bro. They had a good squad. But then Malik Monk also got hurt too. So that could have also been somewhat of a death knell. I asked this, man. Late game collapses last year. If you look at the December numbers, terrible. Say what you want about Tibbs. Even if we go on a slight little losing streak, we always came back with a larger winning streak. We always, outside of the second year here, always try to find a way to respond after a loss. Adjust against that same team if we lost some early in the season. Your man Mike Brown's got to try to find that perfect medium. That perfect medium of responding well, not overexerting the players, not having late game collapses, which the GM spoke about in terms of when they spoke about them firing Mike Brown. And then can he marry both an offense and defense? Play with elite defense, play with number one offense in the Kings, but you got to be able to find a way to marry that. Sometimes it's personnel, sometimes it is just the players on the court, the starters. Can he get those guys to do that? Now, obviously, playing some guys less minutes, right, should probably help. Guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, even Mitchell Robinson. This is a big year for a lot of these guys. Mitchell Robinson, Mikal Bridges. So, outside of Mitchell Robinson, Mikal's gonna be like, look, I'm trying to get paid. I know what Knicks trying to do with the sweetheart did. I want to get paid, so I need to score. That means less wear and tear on my legs, even if he gets less minutes than he did last year with under Tibbs. These guys want to get paid, dogs. These guys want to get paid. So, to me, out of these two coaches so far, I like Taylor Jenkins the most. Mike Brown, I think he got a raw deal in Sacramento. Because remember, guys got hurt. He couldn't have the same prolific offense like he did before. De'Aaron Fox, as good as De'Aaron Fox is, never became a capable shooter. But to me, I don't like the whole throwing. It essentially is throwing plays under the bus in the public. You got an issue with me, talk to me behind the scenes. Let's figure it out. Let's have a solution versus you going to the media and giving these guys fodder to throw me under the bus, to make acquisitions, accusations on my name. I'm just saying, Mike Brown, I think, is a good coach, but at this point, Nate Jenkins probably be. And I wonder if they hire like a Terry Stotts. I also wonder who would be Mike Brown's assistant coaches. That's important as well too. But that offensive system was sexy as hell under Mike Brown, man. Pause. That offensive system was beautiful under Mike Brown. Mike Brown, assistant Sacramento. So he had, Doug Christie, but he took over the head coaching job. I want you woo. I'm trying to find all his assistants. Started off 13 and 18, got fired. Dogs, bro, it's tough, man. NBA is no joke, man. You cannot survive, bro. They will cut your ass in an instant. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for today, man. Taylor Jenkins. I'll do a Kevin Durant video, maybe a short or something later on. I'm sick as hell. Like, I'm not even seasoned, but I just feel it here. So I just want to lay down and try to get some of this phlegm out. And by the way, I'm playing in a Knicks Twitter day on July 5th. My team Nickinator, we're playing. It should. I'm not sure it's on YouTube. It should be on Twitter. I don't think they're live streaming it, but I'll be there. Nick Twitter day playing with Team Nickinator. And watch this. I'm sick now, right? Remember when I told y'all how it goes? I'm sick for like 1 or 2 days and it stops and it comes back like a week after. Watch I be sick for this event. I'll put money in it. Watch I be sick for this damn event. Watch. But since I'm in the chat, man, I appreciate you. He said, yo, Mets, I saw you on Mets 2 salute. He said Mets have killed the last 5 games. Mets fans react to Juan Soto videos or some other comp. Oh, Suta Mets to a 2-8, man. I'll try to check that out. Yeah, Cat is he's soft. Talented. He's soft. Mark Jackson. I like Mark Jackson. He needs to get a developmental job. He needs to be shown. Because you know what, too, man? Look, man, NBA's NBA, man. These guys do not really care about your perspectives or they don't care about your perspectives. They don't care about your religion. They don't care about your beliefs like that. To honor it, let me say. So you have to play ball and be smart. If you're with the organization, you don't do certain things that will rile up the feathers of the owners, which I think Mark Jackson did. As much as I salute him in terms of him standing on his, but if you want to see him as a coach, he has to play ball, and he has to also prove himself that he has a modern mindset to the game. Right? I thought that he did a great job with Curry. Curry still swears by him. Curry and Clay. He proclaimed those two to going to be the best shooters in the league. But you got to find a way to elevate past having a heavy guard based offense, right? And that's where Kerr came in. Even though he was drafted under Popovich, Draymond Green really blossomed under Steve Kerr. That's the type of things you want. You're trying to see, okay, the ingenuity of your new coach, how things fall in line. So we'll see. But guys, I appreciate each one of you guys, man. I apologize for being sick. And my brother Darcy could not show up, man. But please tell me who you think. Should it be Brown? Should it be Taylor Jenkins? Who do you like as a possible coach of New York Knicks? Is someone else outside those guys? Is it Terry Stotts? Is it the college route? Again, the Knicks said they're going to cast a large net to try to find the right coach. Is it going to be a guy in the college ranks? Obviously, Jay Wright already said, nah, I'm good. Your other man, Jay Wright, and who was the other college coach they're looking at? Why am I drawing a blank now? But yeah, we'll see who they pick. But guys, I appreciate you guys, man. Peace, God bless. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Again, I apologize for this cold. I'm sick as hell. Peace, God bless. We out. Peace.